Welcome to Samvaad at Arunima Ankuran. Today we're in conversation with Mrs Bhavna Tokekar. She's an Indian powerlifter. Welcome to Samvaad, Bhavna. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's absolutely delightful to have you here. A word about Arunima Ankuran. Arunima Ankuran is an initiative for positive social change through self-development. The goal is greater well-being and happiness for all. At Arunima Ankuran, we believe that each person is unique and special in some way, that each person can make a difference, that each person can make an impact, and that's what inspires us to keep going. Your attitude towards your goal is what it is all about. Success doesn't come from having more motivation, it comes from consistency, doing what you need to do even when there is zero motivation. It's called grit, a kind of madness. Even when so many things are going against you, just being consistent is what it takes. So this comes from the champion herself, Bhavna. So once again, warm welcome to you, Bhavna. You're one of the first people who's on Ek Samvad, a really powerful person, literally. Yeah. So I'm so happy to have you here. We'd like you to go through the milestones of your journey, Bhavna, so that everyone who's listening in, can get to know you better. So over to you.
Okay. Okay. During my school days, till my 10th standard, I was a table tennis player. If you ask me even today, I'm still by heart a table tennis player.
Uh,
The love for sports started very early from my school days,
hmm,
and I had won a few tournaments in district and school level, and I mean, for my school representing my district, and I had reached a state level also, but I couldn't continue further in the table tennis field since the other personal issues, like my father got transferred. There were no facilities nearby where we were staying, so I couldn't pursue my table tennis career. And then usual normal, like all the kids do, study, work, marriage happened, kids happened.
hmm,
So sports after 10th, sports was I didn't explore it in the sports field, you can say, or I didn't get the chance to play any sport except watching that on TV. So that was the only thing I used to do. Uh, After marriage, after kids, there came a point where I was physically at a very low phase. So that is how I decided to, instead of just sitting at home and crying, and uh, since I couldn't do anything except taking medications which were prescribed to me at that point of time,
hmm.
so I decided to try out different things, and this was one of the thing. I mean, I started running for my half marathon, and then the weight training started. So and this is how the next milestone, you can say, how I started weight training was because of my physical condition that time. So it started around, you can say, 10, 12 years back,
Mhm,
when I was almost 39, 40.
mhm,
So my weight training journey started then. And simultaneously, I was running also for my half marathons. So before competing in powerlifting, I had competed in two half marathons, and I finished in respectable, I mean, very good score, you can say. I was eighth in my first half marathon in my category,
mhm.
and fourth in my the other year, next year when I ran. So fourth in my category. So
Wow.
I did pretty well there also.
Yes. You just said, Bhavna, you used to be watching sports on TV. How is the transition from watching other people and watching yourself?
In fact, it's even now it's unbelievable for me. I used to get very excited. I still get very excited when I watch cricket or tennis or boxing. I mean, I'm actually on the field there with them, the people who are playing there, the players or the athletes who are playing there. For me, it is like being there with them. So that kind of attitude or the personality I have. So from there, just being there in my head, and then actually being physically doing that is in itself a different world, you can say, altogether.
Yes, absolutely amazing. And you won four gold medals at WPC
In
Asian
my
Opening. Huh.
in
So,
my first powerlifting championship, I
huh,
won four gold medals. Next year I think it was three. The same year, the when I won Asian, then I went for worlds. It was I think three. The next world was two, and now again I've won two gold medals again.
absolutely amazing, and congratulations to you. And it makes us so
Thank you so
proud.
much.
So there's no age to start your fitness journey. I think you're an absolutely great ambassador for this thought. We'll talk to you about many things. What is powerlifting? How is it different from weightlifting? Why did you choose to be a powerlifter? Milestones of your journey, the challenges that you've had to face, and of course, what is the most important thing in the sport of powerlifting. So, again, it's such a delight to have you here, Bhavna. Ever since I saw your profile on the LinkedIn, I've always been thinking of having you as a guest on Samvaad, and for me, it's wonderful to have you here today. So, from the time that you chose powerlifting to
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
what have been some of the biggest challenges that you had to face?
Uh, see, from choosing to weight train
Hmm,
before powerlifting, I started with weight training, and since the day I started, I fell in love with weight training. But since I was on a lot of medications, I was on corticosteroids, I was on immunosuppressants, I was on anti-allergics, a lot of things I was prescribed by the doctors. And since I was already 39,
hmm,
and I had never weight trained before that, so it was quite a challenge to start weight training, to continue it every day, and do it rigorously. I mean, it has never ever happened, even till today, that if my coach or if my trainer has said I have to perform, suppose 10 repetitions or 12 repetitions, I have never uh, um, given them or myself less. I mean, if they've said 10, I would do 11, but never, it would never happen that I would do 5 or 8 or never. So since I was so passionate, and I'm still so passionate and dedicated uh, to mm, I mean, go there every day, weight train, my body was not able to recover. Even now, my body takes a lot of time to recover from my previous training sessions. So there are, I mean, uh, uh, the pain which you go through which I go through every day after weight training is from a normal person, uh, uh, to if I consider, I mean, compare myself with a normal person who doesn't have any issues, um, then it's very tough for me. I mean, my body doesn't recover well, or the body doesn't recover faster.
hmm.
So, in spite of that, I continue to weight train even today, and I went there every day without even thinking that one day I'll be competing, and I'll win something. I had never thought about that. So weight training started in that way, and then I changed it to powerlifting, since the powerlifting was so similar.
Okay. So, for all of us who are not familiar with what is the difference between powerlifting and weightlifting, just talk to us about that a little bit.
Okay, weightlifting is all about clean and jerk and snatch. What Mirabai Chanu does is weightlifting.
Hmm,
All overhead movements are weightlifting. What powerlifting is about, three lifts. It's squats, bench press, and deadlift. So these three, you can say, um, events are powerlifting.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is the
So
the
can you
major
just
difference.
briefly describe to us, like in with your uh, hands, maybe how it actually looks like?
Okay, squats is when you take your the bar behind on your shoulders
Okay.
and squat and come back. So that, I mean,
Go
you
down
go
and then
down
you
and
come
come back. Yeah. So that is squat. Bench press is you lie down on a bench. You are handed out the weight, or I mean, if you can unload, you have to offload the weight and then take it to your chest and then
back.
press it back. So that is bench press. And deadlift is you lift from the ground,
Hmm,
the bar you lift from the ground, get up.
hmm.
Your knees and your shoulders should be straight and your back should be straight, and then when the referee says down, you have to put it down. So that is deadlift. So all these three in combination are powerlifting, is powerlifting.
So, just so that it sinks into for all of us, what are the kind of weights that you're lifting, Bhavna? So that, people who are lifting 5 kgs and grumbling know what you're doing. Yeah.
So my current, I mean, I competed in September in Manchester, UK, World Championships. So my the maximum squat which I did was 102.5 kgs,
Whoa.
where I take 102.5 kgs, I squat and I come back. So uh, that was the weight. Bench press was 80 kgs, and deadlift was 132.5 kgs.
My goodness. And, of course, you're doing this for events. During the training process, there is always the risk of injury for any kind of
Mm-hmm.
sports person, right? So, what are
Mhm,
some of
mhm.
the precautions that you've been taking, and what have been some of the real, what should I say, moments where you felt like, did you ever feel like quitting, for example?
Never. Till now, it has never happened. Never thought, even the thought has never come that I would ever leave weight training. So, injuries, yes, they are part and parcel of any life, you can say. Forget
Yes,
about sports or an athlete's life. You can tomorrow uh, slip in a bathroom,
yes.
or while crossing a road, you can have a fall. I mean, injuries are part of life.
Hmm.
If you get scared and you don't cross the road just thinking, ki, oh, something will go wrong, or you just don't use the washroom because you might slip.
Hmm,
Does it ever happen? No.
hmm,
So
hmm.
for me, training is like that. Injuries at times will happen, but what I make sure is that my techniques have to be proper. If you take care of your techniques, the way you're lifting, if that is taken care of, then the chances of injury
Hmm.
reduces to a considerable amount of time. I mean, injuries might be there, will be there, but you can take care of those injuries if your techniques are perfect or near perfect. I mean,
So that involves a coach.
yes, definitely.
Talk
Plus
to
your
us.
own involvement also.
Yes.
It's not just the coach's, I mean, uh, job to do or to correct you. Yes, of course, his job is to correct you, but it is your own efforts are equally important, because if you don't pay attention, the coach might tell you 100 times, but if you don't do it, you don't get involved in that, then it's I mean, it's just half job done. Coach can tell you till a certain amount of time, certain, I mean, till a certain limit,
Yeah.
but uh, he cannot be lifting for you. You have to lift for yourself. You
Absolutely.
have to correct that those techniques
Right.
if it's he's told you certain, something or certain things.
So, Bhavna, by the time we are 40 and mothers, we are used to telling other people what to do. How was the experience for you to have a coach tell you, do this, do this? Talk to us about one of the first times that you actually decided I need a coach and how it went.
See, for me, in any area, I mean, if somebody has an expertise in that area, I might be 40, today I'm 51. My coach is much younger.
Hmm. Yes.
And even that time when I started, the coach was much younger to me. But he has an expertise in that field,
Yes.
right? So obviously, I have to put my head down and listen to him and do exactly what he is telling me. I cannot say that I'm 40 or I'm 50 and I know
Yes.
everything types.
Very important.
That attitude will not work. If he or she knows certain things, so you have to just listen and follow what he or she is telling you to, because he is your coach after all. He can be 10 years younger to you or 15 years younger. You might have an expertise in some other field, but right now you are under him. You are his
Hmm.
student. So just follow what I mean, he is guiding you. So just follow whatever he's telling
Right. So, from the coaching experience to actually enrolling for an event, registering for an event,
you.
what was the first time,
Mhm.
or how did it happen? Did someone tell you that why don't you participate, or was it your own initiative? How did you first think that, okay, let me participate in something competitive?
Okay. So, since I was training very rigorously without even thinking that I will ever compete, I never knew anything about powerlifting. I mean, I never knew that powerlifting or any of such sport exists. I knew weightlifting, but I never knew there's anything called powerlifting. So since I was so rigorously training, I used to surf the net. I used to firstly record the videos, my training videos, and then I used to go and check on the net whether whatever I'm doing, um, how can I improve with that in that, and plus, I mean, what better I can do, or if I'm lacking in something.
Hmm.
So I used to surf, I used to read a lot of things on the internet. So that is how I got to know about powerlifting, and that is how I got to know about masters category, that there is something called masters category.
Hmm.
And since I was training so rigorously, one of my coaches had mentioned, why don't you do I mean, fitness trainer certification, or why don't you do something more in this field? So that time it was like, kar lungi, kuch karungi types. As this was my attitude. It was never of ki I can, because I never knew anything about that. I after 40 you can compete or anything. So since I came to know ki, oh, there is something called powerlifting, which is very similar to what I do in the gym, and then there's something like masters thing where you can compete beyond 40. So that is when it started, that there's no harm in trying, no harm in competing. At least once I should go ahead and
Hmm.
compete.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's when I started searching in India, where I can
Hmm.
participate, and I contacted few people. One of them responded. My
Hmm.
present federation's secretary responded, and that is how the journey of powerlifting or competing started. I went for the trials. I got selected in trials since I was already rigorously training,
Right.
and I had just had to make a few changes in my lifting techniques and all that.
Hmm.
So that is how I got selected in the trials and went for my
Wow. So,
Asian
Bhavna,
championship.
as we talk about it, you're just saying it. से हो गया है but I'm sure during the journey like when you actually said this कि मैं ये करना चाहती हूँ how were the people around you and how did everyone respond to this idea.
In fact, even before competing, or the thought of competition, I used to weight train, like I told you. People around me, if you ask me about my kids and my husband, they were very supportive. In fact, whatever I do, it be it weight training or powerlifting or anything in life, they were never said no to me. Yeah,
That's
"Ki, you can't do this or you can't do that." No, it has never happened till now.
hmm,
But the people around me, if you ask me about the society or um, acquaintances or even my um, other families, relatives, and all that, they were never very you can say forthcoming or very appreciative of what I do. For them, probably lifting weights or lifting heavy things or being stronger was not considered very feminine, you can say, or it wasn't required since I was not, um, you can say, so called heavy or um, I mean, I had put on little weight, but I was never on the heavier side, if you ask me. So there was no requirement of um, doing any exercise according to them. कि
Hmm.
पतला तो होना नहीं है तो इन सब
Hmm.
की क्या जरूरत है द मेंटालिटी वाज कि अगर पतला होना है तो ये एक्सरसाइज करनी है
Right, right.
otherwise there is no requirement and
Hmm.
lifting heavy is always considered to be a man's domain so it was never appreciated a lot of hurtful comments a lot of um, unwanted things were said and even now I do get to hear a lot of things which are just not required
Hmm.
but the my biggest support came from my and even now is my kids and my husband.
Wow, that's amazing. Um, Obviously, when you're becoming so much stronger, you need to change your diet. You need to probably focus on what you're eating much more than you were doing earlier. So, how
Mhm.
has it impacted what you're eating in terms of diet? What does Bhavna have on a regular day? Let's say. Hmm.
घर का खाना like I always whenever I am asked
Hmm.
it is nothing which is exceptional
Ah.
what I do for me and it's not that I've changed much in my diet I was always a foodie I love to cook since I love to cook I cook myself and since I'm cooking myself I know what all should be included um, I mean the protein part or the other raw vegetables or carbohydrates. I know how to incorporate in that in my diet. So that has never been my area of concern, you can say, since I cook for myself and my family, and I love to cook that. So nothing much actually. I'm a vegetarian. You can say vegetarian. I do have eggs,
Huh,
but
huh.
not very fond of having eggs too. So mainly, you can say I'm a vegetarian
Hmm.
and home cooked food. That's it.
Okay.
Majorly home cooked. It's not that I
Um,
don't eat out, but
I-
majorly home cooked
huh,
food.
huh, huh. So, when you're training for participating in a particular event, what is Bhavna thinking about? What's your psychological state, and how do you take care of that part?
Like before the competition, I mean, if you ask me 3 months before the competition, uh, nothing except training. So it's absolutely nothing except training. I mean, I eat, I sleep, I breathe only. Uh, I'm thinking about what I'm training, how I'm training, next day what I'm supposed to train, where I've gone wrong, and if I'm not able to lift, I'm in a very bad mood. That
Hmm.
आज training session में ये नहीं हुआ. I'm if I'm given a target by my coach and if I'm not able to lift that much that day, even though it's a training session for me, I if my coach has put in that faith in me that today I'll be lifting this much I have to lift that much. And if I am not able to do that, it gets into me like very badly. So for me, 3 months are just eating, sleeping, breathing, only training. That's it. Uh, Nothing else matters. Though it's not that I don't go out or enjoy with my family or friends. I do that also, but it's mostly training.
So, share with us the experience of being at the venue and how the event happens, and how is Bhavna feeling when her name is announced. Just talk to us about that whole experience. Any one of them that you can choose. Yeah.
Uh, Firstly, I'll talk about two events. The first is when I first went for my Asian Championship. I had no expectations. Like I said, I had never planned it. It just happened.
Hmm.
It's not that I had not trained for it. Yes, of course, I trained rigorously, but I had never thought of competing in the first place. Since I was able to compete, that in itself for me was a major achievement. Going to Russia all by myself, where they don't speak English, I cannot understand Russian. all
Hmm.
alone there,
Hmm.
conversing by Google Translator. So going there in front of so many people, like
Hmm.
I'm from a Air Force background. Like my husband is an Air Force fighter pilot, so I'm used to training in a very comfortable environment where people know me, I know people.
Right.
So going there, where I know nobody there, and going to the platform where my name is announced, and um, doing, which for me, which is very normal because I've been training so rigorously, but going there and doing that in front of unknown people was
Yeah.
in itself a major thing, and that too in an Asian championship. So it was something beyond what I had ever thought. So that is one experience and one memory which is very special.
Hmm.
And the second thing, I just recently, it happened that I used to see people getting best lifter of the day or best lifter of the championship and all that. And I used to think, I don't know when it will happen with me that
Hmm.
I will get get that trophy,
Hmm.
or my name will be announced. And this time in the World Championship Manchester, uh, I was not expecting, because there were many lifters there and from different countries and all. And when my name was announced, I was like shocked. I was not prepared, and it was something which I will always cherish, that memory, because in my mind I had always thought that I don't know when it will happen. It was going to happen, that I was very sure one day, but I never never thought that, oh, okay, this happened or this is
Wow.
happening. My name is announced. So that is something I'll cherish for life.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Bhavna, for doing this.
Thank you.
And what do you have a message for everyone who's watching it from your own experiences?
For anyone and everyone, youngsters or anyone, I say, you never know what you have inside you. I mean, you just have to find that fire, or that goal, or that purpose. Like, for me, I feel now today I was always meant for weight training or for powerlifting, or to something up in strength sports area. I never knew this, frankly.
Uh,
Um, must be it was always there inside me, but it was never explored. So go ahead, try out different things. You never know what will click, and you just fall in love with it, and you'll continue doing it for life. So
wow.
just explore doing different things. I mean, I too started gymming or running, and other things also I tried,
Hmm.
but those things didn't click at that point of time. And running and weight training, I
Wow.
just fell in love with it. So keep exploring.
So, thank you so much, Bhavna, for being on Ek Samvaad at Arunima Ankuran. It was such a pleasure having you here. We wish you the very best, and you're such a source of inspiration for everyone, particularly because, from being a homemaker, people don't really uh, think much of what they can do, unfortunately. You've become an inspiration because you moved out of your comfort zone, and what you're doing is absolutely amazing. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people who will be inspired by your journey. So, more power to you, and all the very
Thank you so
best.
much for having me.
All
Thank
the
you,
very
Pragya.
thank you. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.